It's your fucking birthday. Ooh. I'm not really sure if that's how the song go. Also, that's the only part of the song that I know. I literally don't know any other lyrics to that song other than it's your fucking birthday. And really, that's all that matters. You know why? Because it's my fucking birthday. Ooh, ooh, bah, 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 bah. Welcome back to More Context, the podcast, on my motherfucking birthday. That's why I look all jazzy. If you're watching the video, the visuals to the podcast, shout out to you, because you get something a little extra special, and that is a glimpse of me actually looking like something, and I look awfully cute, if I do say so myself. Welcome back to episode 18. If you may or may not have noticed, I took off a week unintentionally, solely because last week I had dropped the collection, and that just took up like a whole lot of time. I did not expect to, like, I had every intention on recording an episode last week, but me trying to like do orders, make sure like everything on the site was okay, and I'm pregnant. That shit is just a lot of work. Shout out to my baby daddy though, because he held me the fuck down, as he always does. So, you know, speaking of the collection, I'd like to think it was a success. I did it a little differently this time around. What the fuck did I do? So I opened up the quantity to like low-key kind of like unlimited. And I gave you 24 hours to order, you know, everything, you know, an unlimited size, whatever. And I did a little pre-sale on Thursday with limited quantity. So anyway, if you ordered on Thursday, your order went out first. And then, if you ordered on Friday or Saturday, then your order still went out unless I didn't have your size in stock. And then your order will be going out in about 2 to 4 weeks or whatever. So if you are listening and you order something from the collection and you have not gotten a shipping confirmation, then I will be emailing you individually to let you know the status of your order. So I will be keeping you abreast so that you don't have to inquire, because, you know, that's just how I do. But low key, USPS been stressing me out, because a lot of the orders that actually went out first are still not registering on the USPS tracking. So like I don't know why I give myself this type of anxiety, but I have been tracking some of your orders myself just to see whose order is taking a little longer, to see who's being delivered. And that has been stressing me out, because there are quite a few orders, particularly from the first batch of orders that I sent out from the people who got their orders in Friday during the pre-sale. Some of those orders still are not tracking on USPS, and I'm stressed about it. So I just want you to know that if you see your order and it's not tracking, it's not because I created a shipping label and then just haven't, sent it to the post office yet. It's legitimately because I guess the post office has not scanned your order yet. So some people have already received their order as early as Wednesday. Some people, like literally the first couple of people whose name I can remember went out in their first batch, not even tracking yet. So bear with me, or bear with the post office, because I honestly, it's doing enough for my anxiety. Furthermore, bet you want to know what I'm doing for my birthday. So normally I do love to go somewhere tropical, somewhere warm, somewhere wet, somewhere humid, somewhere good for my skin. But we are still in the Panera of the world. So I decided to kind of keep things low key, kind of, sort of, kind of. I mean, you know, low key for me, I guess. Okay, let me fill you in on this. One thing about me, I motherfucking love the aquarium. Like, I love aquatics. I remember people used to ask me if I could have a dream job, what my dream job would be. And I used to always say a dolphin trainer until I realized that sometimes that shit is just not, I don't think that's okay for the dolphins. Like, to take them out the wild and train them niggas to do tricks and shit. So I recant that as like my dream job. I think now my dream job would be like to get paid to travel and then tell everybody about it, but also find like cheat codes and like life hacks and ways to save money. Like, that would be my dream job. Like, to go on like exotic, expensive as fuck vacations, but like find a way to do it on a budget. Which is essentially what I do now. Anyway, for my birthday, so I say all that to say one thing that I've always loved to do, especially when I travel domestically, is and more particularly to a state that I've never been to. One thing that I've always loved to do is to go to different states and to see if they have an aquarium first and to visit that aquarium. Well, I've been to Atlanta tons of times, plenty of times, and I've done quite a few of the tourist things. Like, I've been to the Coca-Cola factory, you know, stuff like that. But I've always held off from going to the aquarium here because I've always known that it is like one of the best aquariums in the country. And yesterday I actually just found out that it's the best aquarium allegedly in the world. So I was like, you know what? That's what I want to do. I want to go to Atlanta to go to the aquarium. And so I'm in Atlanta to go to the aquarium. And I should be leaving in about the next 50 minutes because of, due to Covina, there's a time slot. Yo, my man, you mind turning on that light for me? Appreciate you. So due to Covina, there's a time slot. When you get your tickets, you have to like get a time slot. So my time slot is from 2 to 2:30 and it's 1:10 right now. So basically, you know, there's no time limit of being in there, but you have to get there by a certain time. So I definitely wanted to do the party part first because, you know, I like to have my pod up by 5 o'clock on Fridays, and I figure if I can at least record it, I might not can't get it up before we leave, but it can kind of be in the making, you know, like once I get back, there's not much that I have to do. So this might be delayed, but better late than never, kind of like last week. Anyway, I'm really looking forward to that. I'm really excited about that. I plan on taking my time. Low-key, I plan on having my AirPods in. I might be listening to a little lo-fi in the background just because I feel like I'm definitely not in the mood to be around a lot of people, especially children. I know I like mine is pending, but like that's gonna be mine. So like obviously I'm gonna feel like being around mine, but I just don't really feel like hearing like kids and people, and I don't know what it is about me, but like to hear people like just be loud and like yesterday I was in the downstairs lobby and I was like waiting for my food so that I can bring it upstairs, and the lobby was motherfucking lit. Okay, they had music and people enjoying themselves and having a good time and laughing and shit, and I'm just down there like, why y'all gotta laugh so loud? so the introvert in me, you know, will be having my AirPods in and my mask on, but I will be cute. If you are watching the visuals, you see that I have on this. So I actually have on like a whole one-piece situation, like a cat suit, I guess you could say. And this was like one of the first things that I bought actually when I found out I was pregnant, because I just think pregnant women look beautiful when they have on like a cat suit. Like you could see like their full figure with the belly bump or whatever. And now that I am officially 6 months pregnant, that sounds crazy because I literally remember when I was 5 weeks. But now that I'm 6 months pregnant, I'm all belly. I finally got my pre-weight back, and I'm actually a little bit heavier than I was before I got pregnant. I told you when I first found out, like the first couple weeks of me being pregnant, I had lost a good amount of weight. I probably lost like 15 pounds. And so now I've finally made it back to my pre-baby weight, but I also gained a couple pounds. And I gained it in all the right places because, I mean, I am all belly. And, of course, you know, my boobs are getting bigger. But that ass, though. Anyway, this episode is rather special because, I mean, obviously, not just because it's my birthday, but because we're coming up on Valentine's Day. Now, Valentine's Day has not quite been a thing for me. Like, not because I am, like, one of those people that, like, if I wasn't in a relationship and it's like, oh, fuck Valentine's Day and everybody in love, and I never really major holidays just, well, I don't know if this is a major holiday, but holidays like this are very commercialized, and I feel like they are invented to, like, make people, well, not even, some of them are invented to make you sell money. Some of them do come from like advertising and marketing and shit like that. But some of them are like, have been like so commercialized that like it make you like just roll your eyes at shit. And Valentine's Day is one of them for me. Valentine's Day, I feel like, is very sexist. I feel like it's very one-sided. I feel like you can be an individual and celebrate Valentine's Day, but I feel like mainstream puts that pressure on men to make them feel like they have to go above and beyond to celebrate love for their woman on this one day. And I feel like, I'm not even gonna say the cliche phrase of like love should be celebrated all year round. We know that. But my thing is, like, if you want to celebrate Valentine's Day, I feel like it should be celebrated equally. Like, I feel like if you have expectations of your male counterpart, or if you are in, you know, a homosexual relationship, and one of you takes more of the quote unquote masculine lead in the relationship, and you feel like the pressure should be more on them to cater to you, I feel like that's fucked up, because both of y'all are in the relationship. So why should Valentine's Day revolve around the woman? Like, if you are in a mutual relationship, right? So I've always looked at Valentine's Day like that. I feel like they hike up prices for no reason, and it makes it hard for me to celebrate my birthday, because if I'm trying to book a flight, or let's say I want to go to dinner or some shit like that, then it's like special menus, and it's like, I don't want that pre-made shit. I want the stuff that's on a regular menu because it's my birthday, and fuck Valentine's Day for making all these prices go up. But because it is Valentine's Day, and I feel like I always, you know, mention my boyfriend turned baby father turned fiance. I feel like now is a good time to like let y'all know who he is. And like, so like today we got a special guest on the show, and it just so happens to be my boyfriend slash baby father slash fiance. Hey, Corey.
That was good. Great.
So you're gonna have to speak up too. I know you cool as shit, but like the people really want to hear from you, my nigga. Like, you are a whole secret. Like, you are like, it's not even a secret, but not a secret. You are a whole mystery to these people. Like, you're not on the internet. You're not out here in these streets. So like people really don't even know who you are. So like this episode is probably gonna go crazy because niggas be nosy and they want to know who is Briowe's other half. And this is him, my man Corey, my man CP.
I'm on the couch.
Yeah.
Facts.
Facts. So we're gonna start off by like telling you pretty much how we met and I guess how we got here today. So I felt like it was important because I was gonna do it by myself, but Corey liked to think that like I be leaving off some of the details or like I don't be telling shit right. So we gonna really hash it out now. Not all the details, but some of the details that like need to be known between like how we met, you know, some little things that happened in the middle, how we got here, whatever. So how we met. The date was May 30th, 2015.
Correct.
So I've always done stuff by myself that is not new to me, especially in 2015. So I was in Philadelphia, which is where my man CP is from. Shout out to Philly. So I was in Philly for the Roots picnic. Erykah Badu was headlining with the Roots, which for some reason I did not. I wish we had known each other at least the day before, because I really would have stayed at his house in Philly and I would have got a chance to see Erykah Badu. But I still regret that, by the way. But we met in Philly at the Roots picnic. So what happened was I was there at the Roots picnic by myself. But I was kind of hanging with a couple that I've known from college. Shout out to Jamal and Tia. They were there. They're from New York or whatever. Yeah, the Bull Mall. They were there they had came down from New York. So I was there by myself, but like I knew them and I was kind of like hanging with them. And then on the reverse side, this stranger here was also, well, he was a stranger at the time. But this guy here was also there by himself, but he had also like saw like a couple that he had knew, and so he was just kind of like, shooting the breeze with them. But we all just so happened to be like chilling in the same section, and I want to say, well, same area of what is it, Penn's Landing?
Right.
Okay.
Penn's Landing, yeah.
So and I want to say this is probably like the middle of. This was probably the middle of the Roots picnic at this point. It wasn't like the beginning. It definitely wasn't the end, because it was probably like the middle or whatever. Because Uzi was there that year, I think, and like Uzi had already gone on and he was like running on roofs and shit like that.
Yeah, he was turned up. That's
so
the first time I ever seen
Uzi, my nigga. I was excited to see him, but
powder and all that. It was crazy.
He did have a green powder. So what happened was I had actually had these sneakers on that I had never seen in my size. The Nike foam posits in Baltimore, we call them dopes. I don't know what you call them where you're from, but in Baltimore we call them dopes. But anyway, this was when the Nike foam posits started coming out in the smaller size, and the first size that I had ever seen was like this lime green color that my sister, my little sister, actually gave to me, and so I had them on. So Corey's opening line was
You gotta break the ice, man.
His opening line was, "Yo, I didn't know they made those in your size." And I was like, "Yo, me neither." Like that's why they're in this color. Like my sister gave them to me, and so from there we just was cool. We was just kind of shooting the shit. So Jamal and Tia actually left the Roots picnic kind of early, and so I just was chilling with Corey, and the two people that he knew, they went on and did their thing. Because like I said, technically none of us were like with each other. Like we had all went there, yeah,
each other there, met there, whatever.
Right. So I ended up hanging with Corey. So the headliner Erykah Badu and the Roots came on that night. They closed the show. But and I didn't have any intention on staying the night, because I had actually been in the area all week, because for my previous job I used to go to Philly all the time and work in South Jersey. So I had actually been in Philly like all week. So I didn't plan on spending the night. I planned on going home. And so I didn't see Erykah Badu that night because I was tired and I knew I needed to get on the road. And Corey was like, "Yo, like," he was like, you can stay at my house, like you can sleep on the couch, like no funny shit, like." And knowing who he is now, I believe that I really could have stayed, and I should have stayed at his house and like chilled on the couch. But I was like, no, I'm cool. You're right. You a stranger, nigga. Stranger danger. So I went home or whatever. And at some point during the night, I had like my phone out and he kind of like put his number in my phone when I had my phone out. It was like very casual, very cool. At no point did I feel like he was really trying to holler. And then he was like, you know, well, let me know when you get home. And normally I be igging niggas like, yeah, okay. But I just so happened to text him when I got home, and I was like, you know, it was like cool hanging with you, and I'm home or whatever. And then he called me the next day, that Sunday, and we've been talking ever since. So like, and when I say talking ever since, I mean like we would talk on the phone literally from like, sometimes he would call me when I was still at work. So he would call me during, because you was driving to work, I think. This was when you was still working downtown.
Right.
Or something like that. Yeah, you was driving to work. And he would call me at like 4:30 or whatever when he got off work, and I would still be at my office, and we would talk from like 4:30, and I would be like, I'm gonna call you right back when I was getting off of work, because I would have to go down to the garage to get in my car.
Right.
And I would be like, I'm gonna call you right back because my phone gonna come out. So I would go down to my car, and I would literally not say I'm gonna call you back until I was at the elevator. And I would be like, I'm gonna call you back. I would get in my car, finally get service, call him right back, and we'd be on the phone till like 1 o'clock in the morning. We did that shit all the time.
This is your version, right?
Nigga, that's the real life version.
Oh, okay.
That's not how it went.
You skip. I guess I gotta paint it from my perspective too.
Like legitimately from when we met each other.
You skip some stuff.
What happened?
Well, from my perspective.
Yeah, let's hear this.
Yeah, I mean, from the way I seen it. So I'm there. I'm walking around working. You can't say work the room, but working the crowd. And you know, I'm big on skin. So if you got nice skin, nice teeth, you know, I'm usually attracted to you. But I seen your sneaks. So I'm like, yo, I really was like, yo, I didn't know they made those in like youth size when they start making foams in
right.
like youth size.
My sentiments exactly.
So me being me, I don't technically know how to like holler at girls. I don't really have. My game is just, I'm just going to acknowledge something that's with a least sexual thing, because you know that usually gets you out of here. But something like, you know, that you wouldn't be expecting. So, and it was the truth. Like I really was like, yo, I didn't know, and that kind of was like an icebreaker for us to start talking, etc. And I seen your tattoo. I was like, wow. And
I did have my shoulder.
Right, she had, you know, shoulder out. She had like these little shorts on, and I said a certain thing that I thought was gonna get me in trouble. I was like, you look like you got like a sneaky body. Like, you can't really shit, but you had these little cut off shorts on. You was like, yeah, you're pretty much right. So that let me know.
Got a little ass underneath.
Yeah, like that. She was like, you know, kind of thorough.
Cool.
Like she was cool. She was kind of thorough. She wasn't
cool.
timid or whatever like that. And then she had her phone out, and I kind of just, while we was talking, I just start pressing like contact, typing my name in, put my number in, and then you know, and you were just like looking like you just gonna like basically you just gonna Devo my phone or whatever.
Facts.
Like that.
Cause I was not in the phone app at all.
Right? Yeah, it was crazy. So, you know,
definitely asked him if he had Instagram. I think maybe not at that point, but I know,
right.
Yeah.
And then you know, then we was trying to see, you was like, you know, because you know, of course you're short, and you were trying to see the show, and so I helped you get on
the gate
or whatever. So I'm like, well, she comfortable, you know what I mean? Like we was really vibing. So when everybody left and kind of dispersed, or you know, we were kind of still kicking it, still chopping it up, you know, just joking around or whatever. And she rolled out, and what she said is true. I did say, because at that time I'm like, damn, this girl cool. I'm like, and she was telling me how she was tired. I'm like, yo, text me when you get home. Let me know you got home safe, because you was, you know, she was really talking about. I know that drive was, you know, wasn't too far. I didn't know exactly where she lived at. So, you know, fast forward, I think it was like that next day, or maybe was it a Saturday? Maybe it was the next day. I hit you like, yo, I'm trying to see you.
Yeah, it was the next. That's what I'm saying. That Sunday.
Right, I'm trying to see you, and you was like, and you was spinning me crazy. I'm like, yo, she's spinning me.
I had plans.
Right, she had a whole nother situation lined up. And I'm like, why is she spinning me? Because I knew she was feeling what she's spinning me. And I'm like, yo, we go get breakfast, because that's like my thing. I like to go to breakfast, you know.
Oh, yeah. So the Roots picnic was on a Friday.
Right.
And then you was trying to come down.
I was trying to pull up down DC on Saturday.
Right.
To kind of catch a vibe.
Yeah.
And then you was spinning me. And then Sunday, we talked heavy. We was talking for a minute. And then I think it was that next weekend.
Yeah, you actually came down.
Pulled up, and then we hung out. And it's just when you think about life and you just think about meeting people, like somebody you don't know, and then you gain rapport within a week time period. Within that week, you're actually walking into this woman's home. But when you look back at it, it's not like
I cooked dinner for this nigga.
But it wasn't like you cooked dinner for me. We was hungry, and you was like, I don't really want to eat. Like,
he was coming down. Okay, so this was the following week after we had met. So that following Sunday, was it that same weekend? No, it was the next week. So we talked all that week. And then he was trying to come down that following Saturday. And I was like, no, like I kept spending them like he said, because, you know, I had other plans. But he did end up coming down that following Sunday. And when we was talking on the phone, I was like, you know, I be cooking, so I definitely plan on making food. So it wasn't like me trying to kick game, like, yeah, I'm gonna cook for you.
I felt that,
It was like, you know, I'm cooking, and like I didn't even ask him what he wanted to eat, because I was making chicken parmesan, and he don't even like chicken parmesan, but he liked my chicken parmesan. So and he spent the night, and I remember because that previous Thursday, like, his car had got stolen.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was Tom Cruise, Mission Impossible.
No, for real.
My life was that. So at that time, so it was crazy. That week, during that work week, I had, you know, my car had got stolen. I had got a rental. And I had came down there. And
then that was, I think, the day before you came down, or the day you came down was when they found your car. So you had to be back. You had to go back. You had taken off that Monday, but you had to go back to like resolve all that stuff with your car or whatever.
Yeah, so that was 2015 was a crazy year. And then, you know, we vibing, talking back and forth. Then my grandma died on my dad's side, who I had met
when he was in LA.
Yeah, I went to LA. We was talking out there.
But wait a minute, let me tell y'all about how what happened when his mixy ass was in LA.
Definitely glad I was lying. You can't fraud out here.
No, and that you know what? That's why we got so far where we are now, because neither one of us lie. Like, we overly respect each other to the point where I don't lie in general, but I definitely feel like it's important not to lie to your significant other or whatever. But
about your whereabouts,
just in general, not even about your whereabouts, but this man that don't even have the internet, don't have no social media account or whatever. I see him on this girl that I went to high school with. He had I don't know if y'all heard of like one of his really good friends, Ron Bass, but he's like a pretty well-known artist. Matter of fact, he made this birthday card. He sell birthday cards, so if you are interested, this is where my birthday card came from, and I was so excited to get this. So Bass is a really good friend of ours now, but started out as a really good friend of Corey's. Like, they're really close. They went to college together or whatever. So they was out in LA together, being mixy,
super mixy.
And
time to be alive.
No, 2015 was a good ass year, but I saw. So it's this girl that I went to college with, and she is a model and a professional dancer, all right.
That's why I was in the picture.
and she's a model, dancer, and now she's an actress or whatever, right? And I saw his ass in the background of her Snapchat. I was like, oh.
That let you know right there it was Snapchat.
Right, right, because I don't even have Snapchat no more.
Crazy.
But yeah, being mad mixy. But 2015 was a mixy ass year, but 2015 was a good ass year for individually for both of us, but also together. Like, we hung out all that year, We ended up going to the Budweiser, what is it? Made in America festival together. So then we got to 2016 and my feelings started getting involved a little bit. You know that girl shit. But me being a little different from every other person, I felt like I could no longer just go around not telling this man that I didn't have, certain feelings for him or whatever. So I told him, I think it was like late February, March, because I was in Curacao on vacation. No, I was in Miami. No, I was in Panama. I was in Panama on vacation with one of my best friends, Tammy or whatever. And basically Corey and I had went like it just seemed like we was getting a little distant. Like we wasn't talking that often, and it just was getting weird or whatever. So finally I just had to come out with it and be like, I do like you, whatever. And he had known, and I was like, but I still don't want to be in a relationship. Like I still don't want anything to change or whatever. But him being a guy, like, they don't be believing that shit. And why would you? Because most girls will say that shit and they don't even be believing that. I mean, they don't even be for real about it. But I was for real about it. I was like, I still don't want to be in a relationship. But I think it's fair for you to know that, like, I do like you and, like, my feelings have progressed or whatever. So that, took him for a little spin, and he was like, nah, I can't really, for his reasons, he was like, I can't.
Well, I'm here though.
Now.
I'm saying I'm here. I can answer that.
Well, yeah, you can tell the people why, but basically, based on his reasons why, we stopped talking, like dead stop, from like March until probably like late September, early October, something like that. So, what was your reasons for like not for dead in the communication, for falling back and fading to black on a nigga?
Falling back and fading. Well, I think every guy moves different or whatever. But when you are kind of just moving throughout life and you kind of just, I guess, just focused on just living, and then unfortunately and fortunately, you meet people who you value their time, they value your time, and at some point, you both become selfish. So you willing to sacrifice your time, or you willing to have them sacrifice their time to be with you. And I think at that time in my life, I was not ready to sacrifice my time to be with anybody.
That makes sense.
And it wasn't personal toward anyone. I was just kind of I enjoyed my freedom and not being obligated to be responsible for somebody else's feelings.
Right.
And if you don't want to be responsible for somebody else's feelings, and I respected you so much, I didn't want to hurt your feelings.
But not enough to tell me why he was fading to black. He just faded to black.
Well, I understand that. Because, but it's hard to communicate that when the person, because usually, so most girls will say, the caveat in what you said was, oh, I don't want things to change.
Right.
Which is like 99% out of 100, where sometimes even what you say emotionally, I know me personally, you can see it in a girl's eyes when y'all situation change. It's like a fork in the road. It's non-verbal.
You either got to choose y'all going to be totogether, or you got to leave her alone.
And I knew we had reached that fork prior to you saying
it. I know. That was why I felt like I had to say it. Because before I said it, I feel like I was saying things or doing things that seemed like I was trying to manipulate the situation.
For sure.
Where instead of me saying like, oh, I miss you, why don't you come down and visit, or like something like that, I was saying shit like, damn, you always with your niggas or something like that. And that's not even me as a person. Like, I don't even talk like that. I don't even care when, you know what I mean? So it was like, all right, I'm trying so hard to mask this that like, I just need to like tell this nigga how I feel.
And people go through, because at the end of the day, you know yourself longer than you know anyone else. And it's like, even right now, even to this point right now, I've known myself 35 years. Today, you know yourself
for
30.
Nigga.
Yeah, for 33 years. You know
I'm 33.
So I'm catching up on you.
Yeah.
And you catching up on me. And at the same time, you're trying to evolve and unlearn certain things that from your past and childhood and how to move and conduct yourself with women or with men. So when it comes to you, you know, you were probably, the way you handled yourself with men when you was 20 versus 33, totally different. And me, how I dealt with women back when you met me at that time in 2015, when I was out here just traveling and running the world and being mixy and just, you know, being Corey, to a point where it's like, well, what do you really value?
Yeah.
So it's like, do you value your freedom and just being able to embrace all this different energy, or have you found some energy that really, really, really aligns, maybe not what everybody else may think or whatever, but like I had to change myself and what really mattered to me to be like, okay, this person has what I need. I may want all this other, you know, guys, superficial shit. And then all of a sudden you realize like, okay, this really matters. And it's like, then when you scale it back, you're like, well, I could have everything I need in this one person if I just change how I look at what really matters. And that's the maturity thing, and that's the time. And nobody gets to that point at the right time. So even with all that,
well,
if she don't feel that way.
Some people do get to that point at the right time, because clearly we are here now. And I told him before that I've never ever been in a position where like I told a nigga that like that I fell back from a nigga and was able to recover those feelings. And let me tell you, that was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. Just as an Aquarius for real, who is very emotionally inclined. I'm very in touch with my emotions and shit. And when I say I'm putting them away, I put them away, I bury them, and then they become dead to me. So, but to get over the nigga, I had to like bury those feelings, right? So like months have gone by, and you know, I started entertaining, because I mean, I was, you know, we was doing our own thing anyway prior to that. I like to say we pre-gamed for 2 years, and then we got our shit together, whatever. So like, you know, while we was pre-gaming, I was doing my thing, he was doing his thing, whatever that means, you know. And it's crazy because I was never in a position where when we weren't together, like when I was like at home in Maryland and he was in Philly, I was like wondering what he was doing or what bitches he was with or whatever. Like I never ever made myself insecure like that, because I felt like when we was together, he made me feel like we're here together, like I'm with you and you're all that matters. And really that was all that matters to me.
Right.
So
part of being cool.
Okay, well
Right.
so
talent right there.
well, I'm proud of you for that.
Right.
So you know, months passed or whatever. So he started hitting me like every now and then. Like he started hitting me like once a week or every other week, and I'm like, what the fuck did this nigga want? Like he stopped talking to me, and I was like entertaining it, but I was like keeping it short and cute, because I was like, no, it's not, like shit ain't sweet, my nigga. So
I had no clue you felt like that, because I was really being genuine.
Because you gotta understand, like I had no idea why you just stopped talking to me. I was like, that was a real asshole thing to do. So like, what do you want now?
It's a tough spot to be in.
So you know, I started giving in or whatever, and so like so I like visit, like I would be coming from New York, and I would stop in Philly, and I would like see him, we would probably get something to eat or whatever, and then I wouldn't stay, I would go home or whatever. And so, you know, we started just getting closer, and then we actually started, so probably like a month passed, and we actually started talking about like, you know, our feelings, like for real, and like what made him, you know, go his way, and how that made me feel and stuff like that. So then I had actually had tickets to the Jay-Z concert, the 444 concert in Brooklyn. And I asked him, I was like, because for me, I was like, I feel like if we go together, like this will be a good time for us to really, you know, see where our relationship is, if it's, you know, what we do, where we going, what we doing or whatever. So we went to the 444 concert in Brooklyn. We had a really good time. Of course, we saw Jamal and Tia. We didn't go with them. We saw them, and then we went to Dinner with them afterwards, I think we went out to eat with them afterwards.
Cafeteria.
Yup. So Jamal and Tia play a special role in our relationship, because they've been literally since the beginning. When they got married in 2017 in New Orleans, we went to the wedding together. So when we get married, we plan to not have anybody there except for Jamal and Tia, if they can make it or whatever. Because now Jamal and Tia are married and they have a daughter themselves or whatever. But I believe so, yeah, because we was together at that point.
Well, they wouldn't have been 17.
18. 2018. Yeah, because they...
Yeah, I was only 18.
Yeah, that was
so
18.
Hot.
It was hot as shit.
But
yeah, so we went to the concert together. We had a really good time. And then I had to leave that next day. I left from New York. I had to go to Minnesota for work. And then from Minnesota, I went to San Diego to see my friend Danica. Shout out to Danica, that's my dog. But I went to San Diego to visit Danica, and I had this conversation with Danica. I was like, yeah, you know, basically I kind of recapped our relationship, and I was like, you know, if we don't, you know, define, well, not really define, but if we don't really define kind of what we're doing now at this point, because I've done it for 2 years with this nigga now. So if we don't really define kind of now what we're doing, because my feelings are kind of back now, I was like, then I'm not really going to entertain it like I did, you know, those 2 years prior. Like, we just going to have to be cool. And fortunately, right. I didn't even have to initiate the conversation, because, like, as soon as I came back, you know, it was, we put it out there, and, like, it was right. said, and that was what happened. So that was the end of 2016 when we officially began dating for real. 2016. I mean, 2000. Yes, it was. Well, the very beginning. Oh, wait. Damn, hold up.
You got a baby brain.
Wait, so then what happened in 2017? Yes, it was, because we went. When did we go to the concert? 2016?
No.
2017?
Right. November.
Oh yeah. My bad, y'all. We stopped talking in 2017.
But I'm the one that was in the way, though, right? You don't even know. You talk all this love and feelings you was harboring. You don't even know when they happened. That's what I'm talking about.
Cause they don't matter, yo. It's what's in your heart.
But no, all serious, it's like companionship is like, I mean, it's like hitting a lottery, man. Like, I don't judge nobody come together, fall apart.
Yeah.
Because you don't, when you step back and just zoom out, you know, you never know what people have going on in their life outside of what you have going on, and vice versa, or the things they experience to keep them from jumping at you when you think they should, and vice versa. And that is really the key in a lot of this. Like, if she hadn't felt the way she felt at the same time I felt like, you know, I did, you don't know what could have happened. You're like, it's really,
everything happens for a reason, honestly.
You really got to pay attention to things, and if it really pulls on your heart and it really matters to you, and it's not superficial, it's not surface, because all that stuff is fickle and it changes all the time. But it's like, outside of her, you being attracted to her internally, externally, just what do you need around you to help you grow?
Yeah.
From a companion. And if you meet that, you might have met that person years ago, but you wasn't ready. It didn't line up. So there's a reason why certain things just, you fast forward, and it's like, no, I got to lock in right now, because this can change the projection of my life from this point forward, and it has. So it's hard to tell.
We started dating monogamously at the end of 2017. Any objections?
Yeah, you can say that. You can go with that. I would say, January.
It was
2018.
It was like January 2018, something like that. And so
2017.
And that's fine.
I'm just trying to remember. Yeah, my memory's better than yours, clearly.
That's subjective. Right. So we started dating monogamously like January 2018 or whatever, and so I had actually left my apartment in December of 2017 because I had plans on moving to like a different city, state, country. Like, I had plans on getting the fuck. I was working for Lockheed Martin at the time, and Lockheed Martin is worldwide, and I was just at a place where I was like just tired of like shit just being the same. So I had got rid of my lease, and my plan was to stay at my grandmother's house for the entire year of 2000. Well, until like for like 6 to 9 months of 2018.
Right.
Rack up a little bit, and then like I planned on like traveling to different places to see what I liked, looking for jobs in like those areas that were attractive to me, And I was gonna move to whatever, and I'm talking about Cali. I was looking at Puerto Rico real heavily. I was looking at like some parts of Florida. I was really planning on getting out of here. And so then that's when love happens. And so instead of moving to a different place in 2018, things kind of took a gravitational shift. And that's when he started looking at jobs in the DC area. And when his lease was up in like October of 2018, he ended up moving down to the DMV area with me, and then we kind of started our life together. Yeah, so 2018 brings us to 2020. We are in a panorama, and he's always been my best friend, and people was like, the pandemic is really gonna make or break relationships, and that shit ain't really changed for us. He was working from home. Well, he's working from home. I'm working from home, and we are still cohabitating very easily together. Of course, we've outgrown our condo, so that's actually how we got into the condo that we're in now. My yoga instructor / homie, my really good friend Rachel, she owns the condo that we live in, and it just so happened that fate has it where at the time of us needing somewhere to live together, she was looking for somebody to rent her condo. And so I was like, yo, I'm your guy. And so it was definitely a blessing, because the rent is a perfect price. And
not even that, was that I had applied for a job in August, had got the job, interviewed for the job September 20th, got hired for the job September 25th, had to start the job October 1st.
Yeah. And we didn't move into the condo till like November 15th or something like that.
So my lease was up, just God willing, September 30th. So it kind of all worked out.
It lined up.
Crazy. It was just crazy.
So he came down. We stayed in a hotel together for about 2 weeks or so, and then he stayed at his cousin's house. His cousin's house, who lived in the area. He stayed at her house for the rest of the time until the condo was ready, and we moved into the condo together, and I moved out of my grandmother's house. So I think that is the best. That's always been the best situation that we could be in, even now to this day. With us had been looking for a house. We started looking for a house this past summer, before we even got pregnant. And now that we are pregnant and our time limit is just crazy, it's like we're fortunate that we are not locked into a lease to where we can't move out, or we got to pay month to month, and then the rent is crazy or whatever. So things are just like panning out, perfectly how they need to be. But okay, so I told y'all about the engagement story, and if you didn't listen to that, like I said, I'll recap real quick. So in December of 2020, I had went to Mexico. I go on a solo vacation for Christmas every year, and I do it like that because we typically spend Thanksgiving together with his family. And then I love my solo trips, so I like to do my solo trips for Christmas or whatever. And so this past year, 2020, I had decided to go to Puerto Vallarta, and I asked him if he wanted to go, and surprisingly he was like, yeah, he'll go. So, well, shut up.
Carry on.
So I still did, a couple of weeks by myself. A few days by myself. And then he met me out there on Christmas Day, and he proposed to me Christmas night. And so I'm not going to go in detail about, the details of the engagement, because I did that before in a previous podcast, Ringing in the New Year. I can't remember what number it is, but the title of it is Ringing in the New Year. So if you haven't heard it, then you need to go listen to it. But anyway, he proposed Christmas night, and it's funny because it's like, I knew that he had a ring. Well, I knew that he was paying for a ring. Like, I knew he had picked one out or whatever. I did not know that he had already had it. Come to find out, for those of you who like to think that he only proposed because he got me pregnant, that is where you're wrong. No, because that is actually a speculation that I've gotten.
Oh wow.
But like he's had the ring since February, hiding in a Jordan 1. So that's actually very fitting for this. But he's had the ring hiding in a Jordan 1 since, you said what, like February? Yeah. So, and I got pregnant in September. But anyway, so we was like joking about, this is what really, like, it'd be like little shit about our relationship that I'd be like, yo, fate, man, the universe really was holding us the fuck down. So okay, so I had asked him what, I forgot how it came up in the conversation. Oh, because he was like, you know, after we was talking about the engagement and stuff like that, he was like, yeah, that's why every time, like, when I would be gone for a long time or whatever, and I'm not a suspicious person. Like, I'm just, like, whatever, if you're going to hang out or whatever errands you're going to run, like, okay. But he was like, but one day I had called him and I was like, where you at? And he was like, oh, I'm coming from Tyson's. And I was like, all right. And like I said, I'm not a suspicious person, so I'm not going to be like, well, why you all the way in Tyson's or whatever. So he was like, you know, all them times I had went to Tyson's, I was going to like do shit for the ring, like pay on it or like check on it or like, you know, make sure everything was okay. So I was like, well, why you go all the way to Tyson's? And so, funny story, in 2015, the year we met, he had came down to Maryland and he had came down to visit me, and he had like hung out for like a couple days or something like that, like the weekend or something. And we had like gone to brunch, and then from brunch we had went to brunch in like Bethesda or somewhere in Montgomery County, and then from there we had went to Tyson's together. Right. And so we ended up going into the jewelry store so that he could get his chain clean, solely for him to get his chain clean. And I think y'all know me enough to know by now, I hate the mall. But it was, you know, I was with him. That was my nigga.
Well, we was
like,
in the mall, you bought stuff.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, like I was hanging with you, so it didn't really feel like, you know, I was in the mall. Like I probably went to H&M and, you know, whatever. But it was, yeah. Oh, I definitely went to Urban Outfitters.
I feel like you bought something, right?
I probably bought, yeah. Oh, that was why we went to the mall, because I had to get something to wear to like that floral part.
I didn't even want to go to the mall.
So I went.
Crazy.
Well, anyway.
Right. Yo, you be crazy.
We had went into the jewelry store for him to get his chain clean. And so we was like, just while they was cleaning his chain, we was like walking around and we was like looking at all kinds of jewelry, but we ended up looking at engagement rings and shit. And so like, you know, we was talking about like which ones we thought was like nice and stuff like that. This is very general. Like this has it's not loaded. It don't have nothing behind it, because we were literally just there as homies, as friends. Like we was just vibing. We was just, you know, kind of like if you go into a very casual, like if it was the same energy behind if we was in a sneaker store together and we was talking about what sneakers we like versus what sneakers we didn't like or whatever. So we was just like looking at rings or whatever. And so he was taking pictures of like certain rings that like just caught his eye. And this is something that he does in general, like especially for him not having, you know, an Instagram or nothing like that. He just takes pictures of shit that he like, that like his phone is kind of like his scrapbook, I guess you could say. Like he just takes pictures of random shit. So cool shit. I'm sorry. Random cool shit. So
man, I see how you carry it though. You out of pocket. You definitely out of pocket.
So now don't get me wrong, when he had taken pictures, I did give him a little side eye, like, what bitches it's like, no, but but he had taken pictures of like random cool shit that he liked or whatever. And so he had taken a couple of pictures of rings or whatever. And we, like I said, we was in Tyson's. So fast forward to 2020, or when I don't know when you got the ring, 2019, 2020 or whatever. He was like, when I asked him, what made you go to Tyson's? he basically had the pictures in his phone from when we both was like, oh, I like this ring.
Right.
And he used that picture to either find the same exact ring or use it as a reference to find my ring. Ain't that sweet?
It's not sweet.
That is sweet as shit.
Sweet.
Because, like, you couldn't have done that with anybody else. Like,
because what was that story? I mean, it's just, I don't know. I pay attention to how I move. So
you couldn't have had done that with anybody else.
No, that's what I mean. No, you're right. That's what I'm just saying. I pay attention to how I move, and it just, if you just step back and you see how you're moving, you gravitate towards, like, you know, in hindsight, yeah, everybody is, you know, correct.
It's like, for one, you had to remember that situation even happened. You had to remember that you had those pictures even in your phone, or not even in your current phone. I think you said you had to get the pictures from, like, an old phone or something like that.
Yeah.
But, like, you had to remember those things. That's why I'm saying, like, the universe don't be fucking around. But yeah, so at this point we have, like I said, well, I mean, we say we've been together for 5 years. I mean, we have, really. I've literally, from the beginning of 2015, I've learned essentially everything about him and vice versa. Like, we learned each other within the first 2 weeks. Like, we learned about each other's parents. We learned about each other's upbringing. We learned about each other's life story. We learned about each other's jobs, how we got there, where we lived before, why we are where we are at the present day, or why we were where we were at the present day. Like, we knew everything about each other. And so, like, I always say, when people be like I hate when people judge other people and they be like, they moving so fast. Like, they, not us in particular, but
right.
Like, when you hear about couples who have only been together for like 3 months and then they get married or something like that, it's like, I feel like I knew everything about this nigga in the first 2 weeks of knowing him. And especially because in the first 2 weeks of knowing him, his car was stolen and totaled, so he had to get his car damaged out and stuff like that, and his grandmother passed away. And so I had learned how he worked under pressure. I had learned how he mourned. I had learned how responsible he was. I had learned a lot of things about him within the first 2 weeks of knowing him. And so if we were at a space where, like, we wanted to be together at that point, we probably could have been. But we weren't there or whatever. But
messed that up.
No, I would have messed it up too.
At that time, I definitely would have.
I would have messed it up too.
And I'm glad I didn't, because, of course, people like, why didn't you? I was with you. But if I would have, where I was at in life at that time.
No, I never even asked him.
It would have been heartache and tears. And
I wasn't there either.
Because when you're not ready for something,
yeah,
you just have to feel it. And
no way I was there. I had just gotten out of a relationship in like August of 2014. I was living my best single life. Okay.
You got it.
Yo, you can sleep with me. Mm-hmm.
No, I know how you carry it. I already know. I mean, I wouldn't be here if I didn't know. But what I will say is that people, when you're humble and when you're genuine and you really care about people and you really are fearless about being yourself all the time. Since I was a kid, I always stepped out of myself and looked at myself, and I'm like, oh, okay. It helped me understand what I wanted to become and how I wanted to navigate through life, even through mistakes. So you would take different pieces of different energy from other people. Like, if you see them messed up, I know not to do that. Yeah. And when I met her, it was like, well, this woman is fearless. She's not afraid of being herself, no matter what. So I'm like, that resonated with me very much, especially when you get a lot of flack that you not. Because some people get flack for being themselves and it sits on them. Where I just be like, I'm good either way.
Yeah.
Like, it don't matter.
Me too.
When I felt that, after I felt that, I'm like, oh, this aligns with what I want to do, but I'm not ready. I'm just literally not ready, because I'm going to mess that up.
Yeah.
So I'm like.
And you don't necessarily think about how you're going to mess it up at the time.
But you just know.
When you look back on that year, it's like, no, it's no way we would have worked out. Which is why, like I said, everything, like when we stopped talking for those few months, it allowed both of us to like determine what kind of real feelings we had for each other or whatever. But anyway, I say all that to say, from 2015 to 2021, where we are now, this is my motherfucking dog. This is my nigga. Like, this is my best friend for real. Like, all we do is laugh. All we do is fucking sing songs that we make up out of nowhere. Shoot the shit, shoot the breeze. He knows me from the inside out. Like, I don't know if I could have been with anybody as secure, as cool, as funny as I am. It's like, no, but like we literally match each other's energy on like every area, even on the areas where like we don't match each other's energy, we still match each other's energy. Even down to like, for example, smoking and drinking. Like, I drank a little bit. I smoke, obviously, well, clearly not now because, you know, little baby, but I smoke weed. I drink, well, I, you know, sip wine now, but, you know, I participate in certain vices that like he's never done before in his life. But he also never judged me or doesn't judge me for anything that I do. And so, you know, people be like, how you with a nigga that don't, you know, drink, or he gotta at least drink? And I'm like, no, he don't. no, he does not. And so like, it's like little things like that. Like, we agree on even on things that he don't do or things that he don't want to do. He doesn't limit me, and vice versa. We don't set limitations for one another. Like, so like we completely align, like allow ourselves to be our whole individual selves separately in order to come together and be like this massive, just like, I don't want to say power couple, because I think that shit is a little like, it's cliche, and it's not something that I would even use to define us, because I like, this is literally like my fucking like my nigga. Like, and all I ever wanted, because I never really visualized what my relationship would look like, especially not for the rest of my life. But like, I knew that if I had somebody that I was gonna be with for the rest of my life, I literally only just wanted and it's ironically, it's a Plan B commercial on the TV. But and why she got that afro? They really be trying to take this like this power to the black people, but marketing shit. Anyway, it is a lot of layers to that. But I knew that I didn't necessarily want like, you know, a husband or whatever. I just wanted a fucking best friend that I could be with for the rest of my life. And that's what I got. And so like, for me, I like, you know, if you want to throw labels on it, he is my boyfriend, he is my child's father, he is my fiance, but I call him my life partner because this is my partner going throughout life. Like, this is my motherfucking nigga, you know what I mean? So sometimes it gets a little weird when you describe your significant other as just your partner, because it's a term that's typically used in like homosexual relationships. But for me, this is my life partner, you know what I mean? So that is more powerful for me to be able to say this is my life partner. It feels more powerful than to just be like, this is my boyfriend, baby daddy, husband, or fiance, or whatever. Even though he is all of those things, this is my motherfucking life partner.
Yeah, those words, all titles just hold energy.
Yeah, and
they hold respect.
They do, but so they can also set limitations, and they can put a certain pressure or like certain thing, like just, and it's like, why create, it's like, if you're going to use labels, create your own definitions for them. You know what I mean? Like, create your own boundaries, create your own whatever, and make sure that they all align for what you want them. Because for me to just solely throw out baby daddy or baby father, it's like, it just sounds like that's just your child's father. Like,
well, but see, I guess me not ever worrying about what people, I wouldn't say I don't worry about what people think. I just don't worry about what people's emotions are behind what they think.
Yeah.
Because everybody's going to think something.
Yeah.
But the emotion behind it can't be genuine or really having understanding because you don't know it.
Yeah.
So I don't never worry about any of that stuff.
So.
Or anything like that. But I will, knowing the world and knowing how people react, you operate a certain way to protect your peace and protect your loved one's peace. So you say certain things and you handle things a certain way, but you and the person you with have a genuine understanding of what you are in any given moment any given day. And that's what it's all about. And you just gotta trust yourself.
With all that being said, because now I'm coming on that time where it's time for us to head off to the aquarium.
Oh wow.
It's 2:08.
You want to be here telling all these non-memory moments that you don't even remember.
Well, that's why we have you here today, my man,
Right?
to fill in where I left off or whatever. But
don't do me like I'm a Christmas special. Like, well, that's why we have you here. But now we have to go. Like, don't do that.
It's time to wrap this thing up.
You out of pocket.
So, I hope y'all enjoyed today's episode. I know I had a lot of fun. I also look mad good, so
I look mad good.
that helps a lot.
On a t-shirt or something.
That helps a lot. As I was saying earlier, I have on this cat suit, but I have on vegan leather blazer from my other really good friend, my other best friend Crystal. Her clothing boutique, Weekend Chic, and they actually just dropped some more pieces today. So shout out to Weekend Chic for lacing me with like this, this nice little
good
blazer. It complimented my cat suit so well because I was really looking for something to put on over top. But anyway,
it's prenatal night in Magic City, so you know what I mean. All right, I'm out.
And we are in Atlanta. He get on my nerves. Anyway, thank y'all for listening. Thank y'all for pulling up on me on my birthday. If you wanna drop me a little coin, my Cash App is Briowe $BRI0WE. That's Crystal FaceTiming me now. So I appreciate. Look, no, for real, she's really calling. I appreciate y'all for pulling up. Thank you for listening.
Yo,
thank you.
Thank
you, Corey, for pulling up to the pod. Thank y'all for listening. Happy Valentine's Day, and until next time, I holla.